What's going on, you gamers? Today we're back with some more Cyberpunk 2077 and I'm going to be going over some of what I think are the best changes in patch 1.6 that really make this a better game now. So if you want to know what some of the best updates were and why now is probably one of the best times to actually come back into the game, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. I've just stolen this absolutely beautiful masterpiece of a car from someone. Oh, I've scuffed it. Oops. Right, yeah. I feel really bad actually because he looked like he was proper homeless. Now he must have slept in this one. But yeah, enough about that. Today I'm going to be going over some of the best changes in 1.6, a few of which I didn't actually realise had taken place. So the first one, nice and simple, not the most amazing out of all of the changes, but it is one that's a nice little quality of life change. Anytime you go to any of your apartments now and you're going to have a little sleep there, whereas before it could be quite frustrating, you could only sleep for a set amount of time. Now you're going to jump into your bed and you can choose it exactly the same as if you're fast forwarding time and you pick how long you want to sleep in. Do you want a little nap? Do you want to rest for a long time? Nah, it is completely up to you. This makes it so that you may kind of be a bit more immersed in the game. Like I said, not game breaking, but definitely better than it was, whereas people pretty much didn't use it whatsoever. Next up, one that I actually really appreciate, and that's the fact that you can now modify your looks even more. Before, up until this Edgerunners update, if you had put kind of cyberware in your skin for your character creation, you couldn't really do much about it. Now, if you go to any of your Ripper docs and rather than looking at your Chrome, you go to change your appearance. Now, as you can see here, I have a kind of vibe going on with my character. He's got cybernetics in his skin. You weren't able to change this around. If you chuck this on your character at the character creation start, say you made him a year ago or so, then you were kind of stuck with it. This made things a little bit difficult if you wanted to muck around with your build and you wanted to change up your character. You could do a lot with him, you could transform in many ways, but this stayed with you. However, now if you take a look just down from here, we have the new option of cyberware on and off. This makes everything so much easier and you can change it whenever you want. It's something that probably should have been it from start. Now it just makes things a whole lot better. Because of this, I was able to make the character I wanted look a little bit more so like David Martinez from the Netrunners anime, which I was hoping to try out. Not perfect by any means, but I would say compared to before, he looks about as close as I'm probably going to be able to get him.
Hey, how you doing?
Now this next one, I'm gonna skip it forward to night time. That will make things a little bit easier. Before, I think, if I can actually see where night time is, right, let's do it round about there. This was implemented in 1.5, but they've gone a step further in this 1.6 update. And I'm hoping it's the start of something special and maybe they go a little bit into the customization of the vehicle aspects. I'm talking about none other than the neon rims on the bikes. If I remember correctly, they were all blue before. So if I call this one in, if we jump on, now if we honk our horn, they've got all different coloured effects. The only bad thing, you can't actually change these as of yet. They have different ones on different vehicles, or different bikes should I say, but some of which look absolutely awesome. And it's a nice little change up. I'm hoping it means that they will implement better ones and just implement a little bit more customization further on for the vehicles, of course. Now the only thing that put a little bit of a dampener on this for me, my complete favourite bike in the game, probably my best vehicle actually, is the Kusanagi CT3X. It basically is the bike from Akira. It is so cool. It really is probably my favourite one that I've seen in any game near enough for a vehicle. But I was expecting this to be, if you've seen Akira, green all day long. Green, 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 and it's the standard blue colour. It doesn't go with the bike. That is a tiny nitpick. It's still amazing that they're actually doing a few things with this game, and hopefully they start some more customization further down the line and you can do a lot more with the vehicles and such. There's been a few tweaks and changes with weapons and such, but one that I really like, if we look at it just here, precision tech rifles like the Widowmaker now do not have a scope. I actually much prefer this, I really do. And now if you have a little look, say we're taking a shot, it's just a lot better. It really is cleaner. It was a bit annoying, and now it makes this gun probably a lot easier to use. Also, as you saw there, another thing with tech weapons, the shake. The shake is just, I don't know if it's reduced or gone. You can still feel it, but it's minimal, tiny minimal, whereas before it made your whole screen do this. Now it's just not even noticeable. I wouldn't say it'd ever make you miss, and the shot's exactly where it would be. You don't need to tweak, you don't need to adjust, you're just pretty much good to go. Another change up that I think is quite cool is they've had a little adjustment to the skills. Namely, it's in the cool tree, they've taken 2 away and replaced them. If we go over to, when I press the right button, if we go over to the ninjutsu, they've added 2 in that I think are actually quite nice adjustments. So the first one is corrosive poison. Poison now also affects mechs and robots, but with reduced effectiveness. Deals 20% more damage to poisoned enemies. Just over here, the other one we've got is critical antidote, and this is the one that I think sounds quite interesting, because now some of the weapons, especially some of the throwing knives, are quite deadly indeed. And if you're going down that cool path, you're trying a cold blood build, a nice little ninja build going on, this could be quite effective. Critical antidote, a strong attack or thrown knife against a poisoned enemy, will remove their poison status, dealing instant poison damage instead, and will have a 100% increased crit chance, cooldown of 5 seconds per affected enemy. That sounds like you can make something pretty neat with it, it really does. I'm hoping to make another build and go into that poison tree to see just how good this is. Working alongside that, they've done quite a few things recently with knives and blades and such, and with weapon categories in general. One of the things I like, some of the new weapon introductions like the Blue Fang, is absolutely awesome. This one special stuns the enemy on hit, headshot stuns after 1 second, or other hits stun after 3 seconds. Enemies outside of combat state get immediately stunned. This is just an awesome weapon, there's not much like this in the game, so it's good to see them implementing new things. But also, they've changed the recovery times of each individual knife. So as you see here, this one's got an 11-second timer, recovery after a throw. If however I changed it over and go for, I believe this is the best one for cooldown currently, the Punk Knife. Only a 2-second recovery time after a throw. This is absolutely awesome. There's probably something in the skill tree to make this even better, but I'd say this is quite a nice adjustment, and having that return in the first place makes things easier, but having this now means that you may well be speccing into a certain kind of knife in order to get the most use from them. Lastly, they've done some big overhauls on some of the weapons. You can really see they're going into poison with some of them. I'll chuck all of that information on the screen now of what they've done. If you'd like to read all this, you will need to pause the screen. I tried to capture footage, however it added about 5 minutes on the video. But my favourite is going to be the new one that they've just brought about, a brand new category, and that is actually for this just here. We now have our own chainsword category. This one's called the Cuttermatic, and it's just absolutely ridiculously awesome. They're doing quite a lot with Cyberpunk. This patch I think's probably been the best, and this right here is one of my favourite things introduced ever, because it's a chainsword, and every single time you take it out you can hear it literally sound like a chainsaw and scare everyone away. It is ridiculous, it is so fun to do in a massive crowd. You're just going to walk up to anyone. That's just a fashion statement and a half. But then we're going to pop this bad boy out and everyone's going to leg it. I really like this introduction. They're definitely trying a little change up with the weapons, trying to make things kind of a little bit cooler. This one definitely does the job. Sorry buddy, let's go, we're done. He took it, well done to him. But yeah, they're having a lot of changes with Cyberpunk at the moment. I think this is probably one of the best, if not the best updates ever, and hopefully it sets itself up for the Phantom Liberty to come, which looks awesome in itself. There's been a lot of returning players to Cyberpunk, there's been a lot of activity, and to be perfectly honest, it's quite rightly deserved. It's definitely in a much better place than it was, and hopefully people are really enjoying this game now, especially if they're new players and didn't have to kind of worry about any of the T-poses or any of the hundreds upon hundreds of issues. But as always, let me know in the comments what you think. What was your favourite kind of update for this patch, and how are you liking the new weapons and such in game? As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on the next day.